Hi, Kubrick Lover 1972, back with another video. Book collection number 12, film book still. So I've got a box. Maybe I can do it in 20 minutes. We'll see. So just hang on a second. I'll get some books. Okay, so um, this is. I didn't know I had this. I guess I don't know. Entertainment Weekly's 100 greatest movies of all time. You know, I showed you that John Coble one, but this is Singing in the Rain, North by Northwest, Godfather, Gone with the Wind, Jaws, Rebel Without a Cause. Yeah. Um, you know, it's just another one of those 100 greatest movies of all time books. So I don't know if I really looked at this, or maybe I did at some point in the past, but I can't recall this book that well. So this one's called The Silent Clowns by Walter Kerr. Shows a picture of Laurel and Hardy, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton on the front there. It might be pictures. Oh yeah, there's quite some there's some pictures in here. So you know Chaplin and Keaton and uh, Laurel and Hardy. This next book is by Liv Ullmann, who starred a lot of Ingmar Bergman's movies. It's called Without Makeup, a photobiography compiled by David E. Outerbridge. And this I got from the library. They're getting rid of it. I think that's where I got it. Yeah, that's where I got it. So, like scenes from a marriage there, you see. Cries and Whispers. One of my favorite movies of all time. Uh, The Shame. So, probably my favorite Ingmar Bergman film is The Shame. Let's see. Next up, we got The Dream Life. Movies, Media, and the Mythology of the 60s by Jay Hoberman, who was a critic for The Village Voice, I believe. And I think he's dead, but I'm not positive. David Edelstein says, The Dream Life is a switchback ride through 2 decades of synergistic politics and pop culture, an extraordinary publishing event. I don't know if there's any pictures. Don't think there is. It's just text. But that looks like a compelling read. This movie I saw at the theater, and I bought a DVD of it. I was very impressed by it. I think I'd say it's Darren Aronofsky's best film, but it's a screenplay right here. Black Swan. I don't know. No, this. Wait. Oh wait. There is pictures. I'm sorry. Um, David Mamet, Bambi vs. Godzilla on the nature, purpose, and practice of the movie business. No pictures, I don't think. Film experience, elements of motion picture art by Roy Huss and Norman Silverstein, an expert description of principles and techniques written to sharpen the moviegoer's understanding and enjoyment of motion pictures. There are some pictures in here. Again, you're seeing these things crop up again and again in these books, like Beilsheb Potemkin, for example. I showed those pictures in another book. So they're appearing over and over again, it seems. That's why I say, these history of cinema books, you read one and you've sort of read them all, if you will, Next up, we've got 3 books here. This one's called The Story of Hollywood by Barry Norman. I've had this book for quite some time and never read it. I think I got back in the late 80s, maybe. And yeah, it's just filled with pictures. Of course, we're getting kind of redundant, I guess, like I said before. Well, there's Chuck Norris, so I don't know. I don't think that was shown before, but I think that's a silent arrow right there. This one's called Making a Monster by Al Taylor and Sue Roy. Introduction by Christopher Lee. This I got from the library. They were getting rid of it again. The creation of screen characters by the great makeup artist. So. This book I didn't go. I only took a few courses for credit during college. I didn't really go to college per se. I didn't really enroll. I didn't get an interview. I took night classes for a few semesters after high school, and so I took two philosophy courses. I took an English comp course. I took a film criticism course or whatever, and then I've taken some adult continuing ed courses, with writing courses and Japanese, and then I took a non-credit course at the New School in screenwriting. So, but anyways, when I was doing for credit courses right after high school, this is the textbook we had to read, Film Art. I think it's kind of too heavy. I mean, it doesn't have to be this complex. I think it makes it too complicated, and it doesn't need to. There's been maybe there's been better books written about movies. I don't know. Maybe I'd have a different take on it if I read it now, but I think it was a little too not academic, but I don't know. It just didn't hit this didn't depict, didn't have the best handle, I think, on cinema. Um, okay, so this is by James B. Stewart. It's called Disney War. I have read part of this. Part I read of this was pretty cool. It's about the major players in Hollywood. I think it talks about Disney buying Miramax. So it's like a list of people in the start of the book, I think, that the book concerns. Walt Disney, Michael Eisner, Michael Ovitz, um, who else? Robert Iger. I think he still runs Disney now. Michael Eisner, I don't think does anything at Disney anymore. Jeffrey Katzenberg, who used to work at Disney, and then he formed with David Geffen and Steven Spielberg. What's that studio called? DreamWorks. DreamWorks, yeah. But Harvey Weinstein is mentioned in here, and John Lasseter of Pixar. So it's just text. It's a pretty interesting read, but again, I haven't read all the way through it, and I would like to. I don't know. I just didn't read it for some reason. Okay, so wait a minute. We're not there yet. I've got a bunch of books by Roger Ebert right after this book. This is a book called The Films in My Life by Francois Truffaut, translated by Leonard Mayhew. It's got pictures of Truffaut on the back here. I don't know if there's any pictures in here. No, I don't think so. At some point, not this box, but one of these boxes has a Hitchcock Truffaut book, and I'll show that. That has a lot of pictures in it. Next up, we have Roger Ebert's Video Companion, 1994 edition. Again, these are like dictionary books. They go A through Z with reviews. So I've read some of these Ebert books, the reviews, but I don't know. I don't know if I feel compelled to like read it from A to Z. Sort of like to jump around, I guess, if you will. Roger Ebert's Movie Home Companion, 1990 edition. Full-length reviews of 20 years of movies on video, and a special section why I love black and white, which is a pretty interesting essay that he wrote about why black and white films are important. There he is in the back. And of course, at 20 years is probably covering his his days when he was a critic, and not films from the way past, like the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s. Next up, we have a book that Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel wrote together, where they interviewed Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas. It's called The Future of the Movies. I have read this book. Pretty good book, but I can't remember it very well. I think Spielberg, and I think Lucas too, maybe Scorsese they talk about the future of film. Of course, that was written a while back, so things have changed, I guess. This is the book that Ebert wrote where he's talking about just bad movies, and it's called I Hated This Movie. That quote is in relation to a movie called North, which was directed by Rob Reiner. I think when they were in the process of making North, it looked like a good film, but then somewhere along the wayside or whatever, it turned into this piece of crap, But I don't know. I shouldn't say that entirely. I haven't seen the movie, but I hear it's really bad. Um, this must be very old. Roger Ebert's 4-star movie guide. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Uh, I might have to do a second video on this box because I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to cover. I don't think so. Hang on a sec. Okay, so we have a book on Antonioni. There's Monica Vitti in the front there from Red Desert. By the way, Red Desert, I saw it at Borders when they were going out of business. I don't think it was a DVD. It was a Criterion, and I've seen Red Desert. I think I saw the video cassette of it from my friend. I don't think I saw the Criterion of it. But of Antonioni's films, I think Red Desert is kind of overrated. I know it's kind of a tetralogy going with La Ventura, which is a great film. La Notte, my personal favorite of Antonioni's, but I like Blow Up too, and La Eclipse. But like that's considered a 3-part series, but it's also um, Red Desert was considered a tetralogy and maybe a 4-part series in that sense. This is Talented Mr. Ripley, a screenplay. I don't know if there's pictures. No pictures. I thought maybe this film was just okay. I don't know if I was wild about it. I do like The English Patient. I know there's some backlash on that. Like some people really don't like it. This is the Frasier scripts. It's got an introduction by Christopher Lloyd, executive producer of Frasier. There's some pictures right here. Let's see. Wait a minute. Well, actually, they're sort of interspersed. Let's see. Let's try. Oops. I don't know. Never really looked at this book, I guess, but maybe because it just has scripts in here. That's why I bought it. This is a really good book. I mentioned this book last night. I said I'd show it when I got to it, and I showed the other book that he had written in that box that was a few videos back or so. Maybe it was the video before this one. I can't remember, but it's by Peter Biskind, who wrote Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, and this is another book he wrote called Down and Dirty Pictures, Miramax, Sundance, and the Rise of Independent Film, which is, like Raging Bulls, Easy Riders, is a really good book. And of course, you have Harvey Weinstein right there. Both of those books, Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, and uh, Down and Dirty Pictures, are good books to read about the filmmaking business. Okay. So it's getting on 20 minutes now. Okay, so there's 3 more piles. I'm going to do that in the next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.